because of the lack of role models and women leaders around them.
They would serve as role models for aspiring boys and girls.
They lack mentors, they lack role models.
The creation of female role models in male-dominated sectors. In addition to the skills gap, there are several other social factors that limit women's participation in especially the industrial workforce, namely the social stereotypes and discriminatory biases, as well as the disproportionate share of the unpaid care responsibilities that are handled by women. Globally, only 1.5% of men provide unpaid care duties on a full-time basis compared to 21.7% women, so this is almost 15 times more. On top of that, there are still many people, including women, who believe that it is unacceptable for a woman to have a paid job outside of the home. Notably, 20% of men and 40% of women globally. Many women reported that their immediate family disapproved of their decisions to work outside of the home.
Over the last year, the suspension of business, the loss of jobs, the loss of income, the economic slowdown has affected mainly the most vulnerable groups in these regions and country, especially women-led business and household. And therefore, agencies like UNIDO and entire international donor community should be providing fast, immediate response and a creative solution to overcome this crisis.
There's more than 800 million people globally that have no access to energy, and women continue to be the ones that are bearing the cost of going and fetching the wood, and also it affects them in different ways, including their health. Sustainable energy can provide a really good entry point there, and for us to increase the energy access, and we need to work on getting women to be also empowered to promote these solutions. And there's a real gap there in terms of the skills that are needed to work on developing projects to support solar energy and other forms of energy in villages, but also to work on the installations. Giving women these skills needed to be able to do the installations and develop the projects is essential to achieve SDG 7 and also SDG 9.
You know, women are the largest source of unutilized talent in manufacturing at the moment. Women make on average less than 40% of the manufacturing workforce. And furthermore, women participation in the workforce in manufacturing is concentrated in sectors with low technological intensity. We are talking about 50% worldwide and about 60% in other developing countries. Yeah? So this is the first fact. You know, women are concentrated really in low technology intensive sectors. Also, you know, another striking feature is that this hasn't changed in the past 20 years. Yeah, so the structure of women employment in manufacturing has not moved too much. So we don't see women evolving towards mid-technological intensity sectors or even higher technology intensity sectors. We need to help women to become employable in those sectors that are more intensive in technology.
Skills development are key to broadening occupational choices, right? And women are much more likely to be in vulnerable employment, like informal employment or unpaid family work. And this is a burden that comes from household, community, care responsibilities that limits women's access to opportunities of education and training. So that's why bringing more options on skills development for women is so crucial, to bring more women to the workforce, to contribute to the economy, to bring money to their families, to provide more jobs, and to bring prosperity for all.
In my view, investing in women's skills development is one of the most effective means to drive progress on gender equality, sustainable industrial development, and inclusive economic growth. Currently, the global economy is undergoing a radical change. In the post-pandemic recovery period, women and girls have to adapt to the new requirements of the labor market in order to sustain their economic freedom and resilience. But they can also influence the process through their own choices. According to the UN, in overall, women's employment is around 20% more at risk than that of men. That is attributed very often to the fact that women are overrepresented in very low-paid or low-skilled jobs that are very often the first ones to be cut, for instance, during the COVID-19 crisis. It is thus crucial to think of the sustainability dimension and to prioritize the development of skills that cannot be easily replaced through machines. Skills that will be indispensable for sustainable industrial development, innovation promotion, and climate agenda. Skills that are relevant in the digital transformation era.
Education of women alone is not enough to solve the problem. In fact, not only women need to be educated per se. So the general challenge of gender biases and also certain misperceptions that might exist towards women's economic empowerment also need to be addressed so that we can create a conducive environment for women's consistent development and also to allow them, even the highly educated and very trained ones, to aim higher in their careers and also grow professionally on an equal footing with men. So therefore, I think that bridging the skills gap is not merely a matter of training women to do a certain type of job, but it's also about changing the general culture and the human mindset to help women feel that their education and training can be further applied properly and also that they can enjoy shared opportunities.
Digitalization and Industry 4.0 or the Fourth Industrial Revolution will have a big impact on the content and nature of jobs and as a result on the skills required to perform these jobs. And Industry 4.0 and digitalization are more likely to be accompanied by STEM qualifications. And as the recent UNIDA report identifies, STEM skills are vital for the economic empowerment of women.
Take risks, build your networks, and make sure that you have the support you need, and always express what you have in mind and have a say at the table.
Don't give up. You try and you ask and you ask and you ask. You will get a no, you hear not today. Things will not work out, you try again. Somebody says you're not fit for the industry, you ignore them. And eventually, opportunities will come, good things will happen, and you're one more in the field.
So I would say that a woman should not try to break herself to match the environment, rather to try to slowly and consistently develop this environment so that it's more accepting of women, and there is more space for bringing a women's perspective.
Yes, you can and will be a female innovator, an inventor, a CEO of a big company, a female tech leader, or simply a successful woman entrepreneur. Anyone you want to be in your life. You can create innovative products and business solutions for women to integrate gender dimension in your daily routines.